need to ask your partner, what's your sexual bucket list? Guys, there are some people that want to have threesomes, foursomes, orgies, BDSM. Some people that want to use sex toys. I need to know, am I the kind of person that wants to be flogged? In today's video, I've put together 70 plus questions that you need to ask your partner before saying I do. Now, these questions are in no particular order and they range from really deep questions to really quirky questions. So if you're ready for the questions, let's jump right in. Number one, you need to discuss your partner's Japa plans. Guys, we've seen a lot of applicants trooping into the US, the UK, and Canada. And you don't want to be with somebody that either wants to go when you don't want to go or doesn't want to go when you want to go. A lot of people don't know that this is one of the first things that you ask. I know one very common question that a lot of people ask is, oh, what's your genotype? I feel like asking about Japa plans is now as important as asking about your genotype. The second thing you need to ask your partner of is if they ever foresee relocation as part of their plans for marriage. Guys, there are some people that have been in long distance marriages for a very long time. There are some people that for 20 years they've been on and off, like one would go to work in another country and then come back for 3 months and they have some sort of arrangement. If you're someone that is cool with that, you need to ensure that your partner is cool with that. However, if you're sure that you're not cool with that, you need to have this discussion to make sure that your partner is not that kind of person that plans to do that in the future. If you're a woman watching this video, you need to ask your partner, what does submission look like to you? Does it mean I have to kneel down to serve you food, or does it just mean I hold you in high regard? You need to know what your partner's idea of submission is. Also, you need to ask him, what does respect mean to you? Does it mean I have to call you my Lord and personal Savior? How does it look like? What does it range from? What spectrum of respect do you expect from me? You need to also ask your partner that during conflict, how are we going to resolve this conflict? Are we going to resolve it within ourselves? Are we going to involve third party? If we are going to involve third party, is it going to be our parents, our siblings, our friends, or are we going to do therapy? Are you interested in therapy? You would need to ask your partner what their love language is. Is it acts of service? Is it words of affirmation? Is it physical touch? Is it quality time? Is it gifts? You need to know so that you know how your partner likes to receive love. Also, you need to ask your partner, what is your anger or fight language? When you are angry with me, do you punch the wall, or do you keep malice, or do you withdraw, or do you send that very long voice note, or do you send that very long message on WhatsApp? You need to know. That way you would understand what to expect when anger comes. Next, you need to ask that your partner, what do you expect when it comes to gender role? Are you a very traditional man or woman? Do you expect that the woman, all she would do is take care of the house and be a housewife? Or do you expect your man to carry all the bills? Or are there percentages to which you are a traditional man or woman? You really need to discuss finances. Who is going to be taking financial responsibility in the house? Is it your money is my money and my money is my money? Are you guys going to be sharing it 50-50? Is it the man, or is it that, okay, the man will be the one taking care of the finances? However, if there's a need, you would support. You need to have those kind of discussions. Now, let's talk about kids. One thing that we need to know is that kids are just a collateral advantage of being married. So you need to discuss kids extensively. You need to discuss how long you want to wait before having kids. How many kids would you want to have? You need to discuss what your partner's role should be in taking care of kids. There are some men that believe that all they need to do when it comes to kids is just provide their finances, pay for their school fees, buy them clothes, take them abroad, something like that. But you may have a different expectation. You may expect that you guys would raise the kids together. So you need to be very clear. There's some guys also that believe that their wives should step back with work and have time for their kids. So you need to know what your partner believes your role is when it comes to taking care of kids. Other things like, how will we discipline the kids? Are you guys pro spanking, or you guys have a naughty corner? You need to know all these things. You need to ask questions like boarding school or day school, because those are things that can cause issues in marriage. You need to ask your partner, are you in debt? You need to ask your partner, are you a spender or a saver? You need to ask your partner, are we going to be having a joint account, or we're just going to be having our own individual money and do our thing from our own corner? You need to know these things. You would also need to ask your partner, do you have black tax? Guys, we're in Africa and this is not foreign to us. Even amongst the Black American community, we have people taking care of their parents, paying their siblings' school fees and stuff like that. Now, this is no deal breaker if it's not a deal breaker to you, but you just need to understand where your partner's money is going to, or where it's going to potentially be going to when you are married. You would need to ask your partner, how was money growing up? This is a very important question. And the reason why it's so important is because a lot of people's spending or saving habits, or just basically their relationship with money, comes from if they had money or not, or basically how they saw their parents spend money. You would need to ask your partner, what was your parents' love relationship like? And this question is really important because it will help you understand why your partner behaves the way he or she behaves, why they treat you the way they treat you. You hear some girls saying things like, oh, I can't be attracted to a man that doesn't beat me or doesn't hit me. That's what they saw. So that's what's attractive to them. So this question is really important because it will help you understand why your partner acts the way they act when it relates to love. A question that no one thinks about is to ask their partner, what level of relationship would you like me to have with your parents and with your siblings? Now, there are some people that grew up in houses where they are not really personal. Everybody just does their own thing, but last, everybody knows that they love each other. However, there are people that talk to their parents and siblings every single day. And when you marry them, they expect that you have at least something close to that with their parents and siblings. You would really need to find that out so that you can manage expectations. Ask your partner, would any of your family members be staying with us? There's some people that when they move, when they get married, their parents, their sisters, everybody moves in with you guys. So are you okay with that? You may be, you may not be, but you need to know. You need to ask questions like, are we going to be spending Christmas in the village back in maybe no, let me not call any village, but basically you just need to know what your partner's vibe is like. Because some families they go on holidays, some families they go back home, some families they like to spend it in within their nuclear close unit. You just need to know what your partner's expectation is. You need to ask that your partner, what is the level of family involvement? What are we going to allow? What level are we going to be comfortable with? You need to know that because there are some people that whenever they want to table a matter, everybody must put their take. There's going to be a family meeting, but there are some people that don't want that. So you just need to know if your partner's idea of this aligns with yours. Now, for the women, this is especially for the women, you need to ask your partner, are you comfortable with having domestic help? Guys, there are some men that don't expect this. Like they want you to cook, clean, wash, scrub, everything. There's some men that don't want domestic help, but they're also willing to like also do the domestic work. So you just need to manage the expectation. While there are some men that are also open to domestic help, you need to even ask questions like, oh, are you comfortable with a domestic help living with us, or do you want someone that comes and goes? This one is very important. You need to ask your partner, are you comfortable with us having meals warmed from the freezer, or do you want fresh meals every day? If yes, who's going to be cooking the meal? This one is very important too for women. Don't go and enter one chance. But like if you're someone that also likes fresh meals, it means you're aligned. Some of all these things, in fact, most of them are not deal breakers. It just means, oh, can you handle it, or does it align with me? Ask your partner, do you have any food allergies? I have a friend that doesn't eat onions. It's not an allergy, but she doesn't eat it, right? So it means that if I was her partner, although like I'm talking like if she was a man and I was her partner, it means that maybe I will now end up not eating onions for the rest of my life, or I'll always have to make 2 pots of stew and soup. Some people don't like pepper, some people are allergic to peanuts, but some people are allergic to different things. So you need to know. Imagine making a meal for your partner, you're trying to be romantic and all, and you end up putting in something that they're allergic to. Trust me, that's going to be counterproductive. So you need to have this knowledge. I feel like this particular question is so important because some people just have a very weird ideology. You need to ask this your man, like, Is your wife a part of your family, or is she just a kid bearer for you? And guys, this particular question, you don't need to ask of it directly. You just need to paint scenarios or send something on social media. Because the other day I saw something on social media that the man was saying, oh, this is why I always tell my guys, your wife is not your family, only your kids, bro. You need to know all this kind of men so you can avoid them. Also, you can also know it when you see that your man is so intentional about trying to get you pregnant before you get married. That's a clear indicator that he's not seeing you as family. He's just seeing you as somebody that can create his own family for him. You need to know your partner's opinion about having separate rooms. There are some people that grew up with their parents having separate rooms, and so this is their expectation. While there are some people that their parents always stayed in one room. This may seem trivial, but this is really important so that you can manage your expectations. You need to ask your partners questions like, what's your take on birth control? What's your take on vasectomy? So that you know what you're doing with yourself. So for this next question, I don't wish it on anybody, but some people face infertility. It's a possibility. So you need to ask your partner, if we ever go through infertility, are you open to adoption, IUI, IVF? Like, what's your take on that? Or are we just going to pray and wait on the Lord? Now, there's no wrong answer. There's just the answer that doesn't align with what you believe. Like some people, they would never do adoption because they don't feel like they can love somebody else that didn't come from them. While some people, they believe that no, if you do IVF, it means you don't really have faith. There's no hard and fast rule. You just need to make sure that your partner aligns with what you believe. Now, this question is very important. You need to ask your partner how the last relationship ended. And this is important because you need to kind of gauge how your partner would act towards you when things go south. And I'm not saying things will go south and you end up breaking up, but it just makes you understand who your partner is. You need to ask your partner, have you ever cheated on somebody? And has somebody ever cheated on you? So that you can you can be predicting your future now. This one is very important. You need to ask your partner, what level of relationship are you going to have with the opposite sex? There are some people that don't mind their girlfriends having a male bestie, or for your guy a female bestie, but you may not be comfortable with that because you don't want boundaries to be crossed. So you need to make sure that you guys are aligned in terms of that. Ask your partner, what are your views on cheating? Do you believe it's okay to cheat? Do you believe there are circumstances where cheating is, permissible, maybe because of some health issues, or you just need to know what your partner thinks on that. Now, this next one is really sensitive and vulnerable, but it's important to ask your partner if they've ever had any childhood trauma like rape, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse. This is very important. I was watching an interview yesterday, and the trauma therapist basically said that when you're dating somebody that has been traumatized and hasn't healed, you're dating the person's past. So you need to ask this question to make sure that you're not going to be dating your partner's past. And also to help you understand why your partner acts in a certain way that doesn't seem so stable to you. Now, let's talk about sex, baby. You need to ask your partner, what's your expectation on sex? Now, this is not to become a fornicator or something. This is just to gauge if you guys are compatible. And you can gauge, like, it can be fantasy. If you're a Christian and you're keeping yourself, like, you just need to kind of understand, because some people want it every day, like every hour, maybe 5 times a day. Some people want it once a week, once a month. You just need to make sure that you and your partner are aligned on what you're working towards. And this does not mean that when you enter marriage, you cannot change and you find out that, oh, I thought I was going to be having it 3 times a week, but actually I want it every day. It can happen, but it helps you to know what you guys are working towards. This one is important too. You need to ask your partner, do you have any sexual fetish? Like maybe there's some people that like to lick toes. And you need to ask yourself, like, okay, am I someone that is comfortable with my toes being licked? You need to ask your partner if they have any sexual addiction, like masturbation, porn. These things have a way of affecting the marriage bed. And you need to make sure that it's something that can be dealt with so that you know if you can move forward with that partner. You need to ask your partner, what's your sexual bucket list? Guys, there's some people that want to have threesomes, foursomes, orgies. There's some people that want to do BDSM, some people that want to use sex toys. I need to know, am I the kind of person that wants to be flogged? Jigget. And if you're a Christian, am I someone that wants to invite other people to our marriage bed? These are things that would help you in the future. Trust me, so that when your partner starts to act funny, you're not like, why you acting funny? And the guy will not be like, oh, you never asked what I really like. Guys, my baby is crying. But let me try and wrap this video up. You need to ask your partner what his or her goals in future is, and you need to make sure that your own dreams and your own goals fit into that partner's zone, because you don't want to start saying in future, oh, I gave up my dreams for you. You need to make sure that within your partner's dream you have the space to dream. You need to ask your partner, what's your political ideology? What do you believe? This is so important because it tells you the kind of person that person is. Let me simplify it. If you're in Nigeria, just ask, did you vote for Tinubu or did you vote for Peter Obi? If you're abroad, ask, are you a liberal or are you conservative or are you in the middle or something like that? It will help you gauge the kind of person your partner is. Now, this next one is very important, especially for women. You know, when you get married, there's an expectation that you change your last name to your husband's name. If you're someone that has built a name for yourself with your present son name, you need to ask your partner, are you comfortable with me still answering my present son name when I get married? Can I maybe do an official name change, but I'm going to like still be answering my father's name because this is what I'm known by? Or am I a feminist and I feel like, no, I can't change my name? You need to be aligned on this. This is very important. In the olden days, when you want to get married, they're going to go to your village and find out what diseases your family is faced with. Is it epilepsy? Is it this? Is it that? Now, we no longer do that, but you need to ask your partner, what are the common diseases in your family? Is it hypertension? Is it diabetes? What is it? This is very important because you need to know what you're dealing with. You need to know what you can expect. You also need to know what you guys can start preventing from now. It's important to ask your partner, what current medical condition do you have? Some partners are dealing with diabetes, some are dealing with PCOS, and there's no shame in the game. It just makes you know what you can handle and how best to help your partner. It's important to ask your partner, what mental problem do you have? Do you deal with, and mental problem does not mean you're mad, but like, do you deal with anxiety? Do you deal with OCD, PTSD? Do you deal with depression? Can I handle it? You need to ask your partner, what are your marriage deal breakers? Now, the reason why this is important is because you need to know if this person can walk away from you, maybe because you insulted them, or does it have to be that deep? You need to ask your partner, what is your stance on divorce? Are we going to die here, or are we going to leave when things don't get good? Or does it have to be only infidelity that will make us break apart? Or does it have to be domestic violence? You need to know. It's important to ask your partner what marriage traditions or what traditions you want to have for your family. There's some families that pray together, they eat together. There's some families that they do their own thing. You need to know what you want to make a big deal in your family. Next thing you need to ask about is, what denomination is your partner? Some people are Catholic and they expect that once their partner gets married to them, they're just going to automatically be Catholic or Pentecostal. You need to be aligned on that. Next, you need to know what your partner's criminal records are, because, for example, if you want to japa, that's going to pose an issue, and you just need to know the kind of person your partner is. You need to find out, are you comfortable sharing your password, just your important information with your partner, and is your partner comfortable sharing that? Because that will tell you, what level you're comfortable with. You need to ask your partner, what are your thoughts on giving? Are we the kind of people that will be buying pastors like cars, or are we just titers, or do we give as the spirit leads? So that you know if you're aligned, because whenever you get married, finances are sometimes merged, or you can't just spend in a big way without informing your partner. So you don't want to be having issues of, I think this is too much, or I think you're stingy. You need to know. Next, it's important to ask, this one is important too. Like, if you have bad breath, if you have body odor, if you have all these weird things, how best can I tell you without you getting offended? You need to manage all these things so you guys don't start clashing, or you don't start dying in silence in your marital home. Finally, this one is really quirky, but you need to ask your partner, do you like pets? If you do you like dogs or do you like cats? Like, you need to know, or are you not a dog person? Are you not a cat person? Do you not like animals? Can I do this? Guys, I really need to go, but I hope that these questions really helped you.
Please permit me to take 10 seconds of your time. If you love the value offered so far in this video, please do me the greatest favor. Please join the 15% of viewers that are currently subscribed to this channel. Please subscribe to this channel and hit the like button. It helps us tremendously to send this positive message to the rest of the world.